Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
The purpose of Research Day is for undergraduate and graduate students to present their empirical research they've been working on with their faculty mentors over the course of the year. The campus is actually, classes are canceled the day of the event, so we have a lot of faculty, students attending. In the morning we have oral presentations. This year we have nearly 45, and later in the morning we have poster presentations. This year we have almost 90 poster presentations. So it's quite a popular event. Again, this is in its 10th year, so it's grown quite a bit over the years. In fact, we have the most number of presenters this year than we have in the past.
To measure emotional dependency, we used Dr. Bornstein's relationship profile test. Now,
Adelphi University is really about experiential learning, and I think it's promoted in a lot of ways at the university, and I think the students sense that and they realize the importance of learning by doing, and the faculty encourage it. So I think fortunately we have a lot of great faculty that encourage students to get involved, and the students get excited about the research that they see their faculty doing, and so it's sort of a natural fit, and we get a lot of students working with various faculty members across all sorts of departments, so we get really representation from all across the university.
I've known Jonathan for the 4 years that he's been here. In fact, I'm his academic advisor, and he's been participating in research conference that we have at Adelphi for the last 2 years. In fact, won one of the presentation categories last year. I think he did a wonderful job. I was so proud of him. He clearly understands complex issues, and this is a very high-level presentation.
this may sound counterintuitive, but the more independent a person is accustomed to being, the more likely they will be affected by the physical limitations.
There are many other students at Adelphi that decide for their own reasons to just go to class, participate in clubs, and I'm in clubs as well, but I find that research really gives you an opportunity to spread your wings and design your own projects, and through designing your own projects you gain an understanding of psychology, and it puts you in the next step when going on to graduate school, and I think that's really what I want, is the next step, and Adelphi has given me that opportunity.
My research question is if there's a need for a new framework that can accurately define warfare in the 21st century, particularly concerning drones, their use abroad, and now also the issue of their use home commercially, but also in other ways. So I guess I'm looking at whether or not these kinds of strikes, what's the scope?
I did climate change in the Arctic region, and the reason I did that is because global warming affects us in many ways, and the temperature is expected to increase possibly up to 3 to 7 degrees by the end of the century, and that affects the sea ice is 50% the size it was. We've discovered that there's a possibility of billions of barrels of undiscovered oil in this whole region, and which leads to many countries competing for it because it's not claimed by anyone yet, and because there's so much of it, there could be some disagreements and competition for it.
What do faculty advisors get out of mentoring students? Because the students obviously get a lot out of it. Personally, I get a huge sense of pride in seeing my students present, and it's also gives me a chance to explore some questions that I otherwise wouldn't have explored, either with my data or with data that the students themselves have collected, data that I probably wouldn't have had the time to collect myself. So I'm learning in the process as well, but it's also just great to sort of foster this sense of independence in the students, and then to see them produce this great product at the end.